I've just hit the go live button, peeps. So here we are. Right. Welcome everybody. We've got Jim Pyle with us as well tonight as an extra special treat for everybody. What a brilliant night we've got ahead of you. So we've got three of America's best interrogators that are going to put me under the microscope. Is it America? Sorry, I said that. Three of the world's best interrogators. Sorry, I got that wrong. They're going to grill me throughout tonight with an Ask Me Anything session where we can find out about the past and the day in the life of Gavin Stone. What have I done? So, Jim, would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Jim Pyle, former U.S. Army interrogator trainer, writer, actor, DJ, dad, a lot of things. I know stuff, and we'll just talk about some of those things tonight.
Brilliant. Robin, do you want to go next?
Robin Dreek, y'all know me. and the fun stuff, as everyone that tunes into our channel, you know, my living bookcase behind me, 2023 started out the year as always as blank, and here's where we're at this year. We've read so far, reading the current one, and it's because Gavin and Lena put me onto it. Just about finished up Becoming Supernatural. So good one. Fascinating, actually. So it's interesting. Anyway, there you go. That's me.
Robin, how do you find, do you read every day?
Oh, yeah. A couple hours.
All right. I'm Lena Cisco. Everybody knows me. Pass. No, I'm kidding. There's a Robin did. Lena Cisco, animal lover, wine enthusiast, sailor, and rollerblader. A few things you didn't about me. And of course, I am a former DoD certified Marine Corps interrogator.
Well, I haven't been rollerblading for many, many years. I had skates when I was a kid, like before rollerblades had even come out. And I remember seeing rollerblades and thinking, wow, they're cool. And I couldn't afford them when and you know, it was one of the things I asked for Christmas. But by the time Christmas comes, it's cold in England. Nobody wants rollerblades. And eventually I got a pair, and I actually found them a lot easier to negotiate with than skates. Really, really, really weird. So where are we gonna take questions from the audience as well tonight? Are we? Is that part of the setup? Yeah,
I think we should.
Yeah, why not?
All right. Well, I can see the chat. Hey, everybody. So I'll monitor for some good questions.
Brilliant. That sounds like a good start. I am going to have myself non-alcoholic.
I got a little nervous, I got to tell you.
Nope.
I knew it wasn't.
Yeah. Sauvignon Blanc. So in a martini glass, just so it can look
I noticed that as well. I do love my Sauvignon Blanc. That's my favorite white wine. Can't say I've ever had it in a martini glass.
No, it's the first time I've ever. It looks weird without the olives, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Right. Where are we going to kick off tonight, then? Has anybody got anything they want to start with?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Go for it. I knew Robin. I was like, please, Robin, start. My voice.
I'm hearing it too. There's feedbacks from someone.
Right. Let me see if I can pull my mic forward a little bit and see if that makes a difference. It might be my new setup. So
I was thinking that Gavin's voice is awful out of clothes. He's going to sweat tonight.
How's that? Is that any better?
Yes, much.
Yeah.
I still hear it a little bit, not as much though.
Okay, let's see if I can move that back and see if that helps. There we go. Right, how are we doing? Lena, can you talk? See if we...
I can talk. And now I still hear me.
Yeah.
Break 19, break 19, break.
I'll mute mine, see if it's me.
Let's see if I can turn the settings on the audio down just a touch.
No, it wasn't me.
I can mute me. Hold on.
Yeah. How about that? I've turned my mic settings down a little bit, so I'll probably be a little bit quieter, but it should
actually you're good.
Yeah. Are we all good? Feedback gone? Echo gone?
How about me? I think that no, is it me?
No, I hear it a little bit. No, you came on lastly, and I heard it before you came on.
Oh.
Right.
I think it's Gavin. That's all right. It's not as bad as it was.
Okay, well, I've turned the mic settings down a little bit, so hopefully it should stop the feedback. So,
All right, so I sound like I'm in a tin can. Hold on.
right, let me try and turn that down a little bit more. Try a little bit more. There we go. Right, is that any better? I'm probably a lot quieter now, but
You're actually not quieter.
no.
No. Actually, I
Okay.
think the feedback's gone.
Is it? Lena,
Yes.
are you muted or are you there?
Okay, thank you, Helen. So I sound better because I put my mic closer to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we've managed. Right then. Whew. That's not a good start, is it? Technology. We always manage to do this, don't we? It's usually right at the end we forget to stop going live, or right at the beginning we get the feedback. In fact, that's just reminded me. I want to close that Facebook tab down. There we go, just to make sure nothing goes ping in the middle of this to distract me. Right then, Robin.
So
You look
it was just
poisonous.
based on what you just said. I was curious about what was the first time. Well, when was the first time you went skating, and where was it?
Cool. I lived in a little area called Tetnall Wood way back when I was a kid.
How old?
9, 10 maybe. And I had a best friend called Stuart. And he was one of those kids who was very lucky and kind of he always had everything that everybody else in the cul-de-sacs. We live in 2 cul-de-sacs opposite each other. And all the kids kind of, he was the one to always have the first. So when the first, I had these really old plastic PVC. If you picture a typical pair of 1970s, 1980s skates, those were what I had. And they were secondhand because we couldn't steal anything new. And and he was the one kid that had these like kind of stunty, sporty Bowers or whatever they were called, with all the Velcro straps and all the modern things. He was like the first kid to have one. He was the first kid to always have everything. That if something come out, he had it. So he kind of had these skates, and he kind of went around the streets, and he'd come and knock on my door. He's like, "Look at me, look what I've got." So I wanted a pair. So yeah, like I said, not too long later, I ended up with these yellow, white, and blue skates with the red stoppers on the front that looked absolutely awful. And as much as they were dreadful and not aesthetically pleasing in any way, they meant that me and Stuart could go and do stunting skates all around the neighbourhood and wind up the older people that lived in the cul-de-sacs.
And I only have one follow-up to that then, and I'll bounce. So you said something very interesting in there, Gavin. We couldn't steal anything new. So what did you still use?
We could only steal stuff that was thrown out.
Like what?
Oh, anything that had been thrown away into a skip or a trash can or into a kind of
like what? What was the first thing? What was the first thing you remember doing that to?
I don't know.
You remember something?
Remember.
There you go. Yeah, he does.
No, it's not coming to me.
Okay.
Gavin, is there any reason why that you avoided camera eye contact, looked down, and started laughing when Robin asked you that question?
Yes, my camera's right up there. I've changed the angle of the setup in the entire studio here because I've tried to get it. When I was using the laptop one, if I look at it, I've got this awful double chin thing going on, which looks awful when I'm looking at the laptop camera. So I've moved my camera up. I've got my laptop on 2 boxes, so that's elevated as well. I've lowered my seat down. So if I to look at the camera, I have to look like that, and it's kind of less comfortable than if I'm kind of sitting at eye level. And, yeah, there we'll go with that.
Follow up. Is there any reason why you are uncomfortable answering Robin's question?
Yeah. I grew up in an area where certain things are not frowned upon as much as they should be. And as I've grown older and wiser, I've tried to instill integrity into my daughter. I had a big change in my life many, many years ago. And I learned that integrity and honesty and kind of just, doing the right thing is more important, even if it costs you, than the quick bonus or quick thrill or whatever you want to call it, or the quick, kind of benefit of doing something you shouldn't, or gaining from something you shouldn't. So I've switched my life around in many, many ways, and I'm trying to set an example for my daughter. So when I look back on my life and the things I've done when I was younger, and the things I've said, and the ways I've behaved, I'm very, very ashamed. So there you go. Honest cow. I should sell car.
2 lessons there, folks out there. Number 1, interrogation 101, actively listening, right? So you can ask those good follow-up questions. Gavin said a key word, and all of us, Jim, Robin, and me, ooh, right? Like steal. That's what we hear. We know we have a follow-up question because there's going to be some good content there. Second thing, be prepared for when you ask that question to have somebody be brutally honest with you. And then what do you do? But Gavin, thank you so much for being so genuine and authentic. And as many people, especially our good friend Allie, would say, never, ever, ever be ashamed. Life is a learning journey and a growing journey. And let me tell you, if I look back on my life and what I've done, be very hard to wake up every day. But you know what? That's who I am. I've learned, I've grown, I do things differently now. And here I am.
For the record here, as soon as I said that word, I instantly regretted it. It was like playing a pinball machine when I watched it go ping, 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 ding, 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 and I saw everybody going, oh, I've got that one.
We've talked about where kind of have a place for you years back, and we have an event now that you've talked about, something that changed your life. Because there's only 4 things to talk about: people, places, things, events, and time. I'd like to go and talk to you about a person, and maybe back at that time, who was that person that maybe has influenced you in a great way, and what did he do to influence you that way?
Ooh. Now you've got me.
If there was somebody, maybe there was.
He doesn't want to say it.
Yeah, so I think there have been several people
along the way.
There's been a lot of different people and events throughout my life that have kind of, I don't know. Have you ever seen the movie? What's the one with Jim Carrey where he's driving down the freeway and he's going, give me a sign, and the signs are saying turn back, and he's going, come on, God, talk to me, and the sign's saying don't go ahead, stop, and all these things are happening, and eventually, the road works at the end of it. He drives off the edge of a cliff or a bridge or something that's unfinished, and I think that was a bit like me when I was kind of going through my life, and I kept seeing these signs saying that's not the right path for you. That's not, I'd meet different people who'd say, look, you're better than this, or you should be doing something other than what you're doing, or, and so there'd be lots of people, there'd be lots of signs, there'd be lots of events, until eventually my stupid skull got the message, and it got through to me that I'm kind of living a life on this side of the track, and I should be on that side of the track. And that's when... So sorry, yeah. I didn't want to take the credit for it. I think it was more down to a multitude of people and events. Bruce Almighty, thank you very much. Remember. So yeah, he's just put it in the chat there. So yeah, there was a lot of self-reflection. I've become a little bit introspective in the way I was with what was going on in my life, and I think just one day all these things added up, and I just kind of said to myself, get the message, stupid. Do something different. So anybody else, it would have probably happened a lot quicker, but I'm not that sharp.
All right. Well, we have some really good questions from the comments. Can I ask you one?
Yeah, crack on. Let's go for it.
From Alicia. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not Alicia. I think it's Alicia. Has Gavin always loved the feeling of freedom and speed? And if so, did that lead to his career path? Now, that's what we call a compound question in the interrogation world, but I am going to allow it right now because I could see Jim just lifted in his chair like, oh, Lena, that's a bad question. Why would you do that? Got my eyes on you.
Too much. But when I was younger, I was the one that kind of shied away from things when I was a child. So like kind of in infant school or elementary, as you'd call it over there, I was kind of very, very shy, very quiet. And then occasionally I'd come out of my shell a little bit, which would result in a great laugh, usually amongst the teachers more so than the kids. And then I kind of went on to junior school, which is like junior high for you guys. And that would be an area where I kind of just faded into the background a little bit. And it wasn't until I actually left school, which was I left very early. I didn't complete school. I left at 15. I'd had enough. I quit. I had a row with a headmaster, and he told me I couldn't quit. I said, "Watch me," and I walked out and got a job. So yeah, and then kind of because I left early and I was working early, I was working on building sites and all manner of things and doing different things. I started to kind of live grown up very young. So I always got on with people that were older than me, more so than people my own age or younger than me. And then eventually, probably when I got to the point where I was allowed to be an adult or officially be an adult, 18, 19, I was like, okay, now I want to be a kid again. That wasn't quite as good as I expected it to be. So I went through a premature midlife crisis. And I went out and started doing things that were a little bit more wild. That faded. And then over the last 10 to 15 years or thereabouts, I've started having a bit more fun again, and started realizing that life is about more than just working, being a parent, working, paying bills. I mean, I've always moved around and be free, but I've just started enjoying a few more crazy things and living life on the edge a bit more for fun.
Nice. All right, and it is Alicia. I saw the beautiful phonetic pronunciation that helped me out. All right, Robin, toss it over to you.
So much you dropped in there.
I'm trying to confuse you. You see, if you want to hide a tree, you plant it in a forest.
There's so many beautiful tracks, and I love always understanding the core, because then I can predict, what's important to you. So, and you said a few things in there. You said the word fun a few times. So I'm gonna kind of transition that word fun to maybe happiness. Have you been able to define what makes you happy? And if so, what is it?
My daughter. Yeah. She's the best thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. I'm not going to go into a history, but I do have other children, which I don't get to see, unfortunately. Long story, I'm not going to talk about it, but I was unable to be a father to them. But my daughter has not just changed me, but changed me so much for the better in so many ways. I was terrified of having a daughter as it happened. I was praying for a son. I wanted a son because I thought if I have a daughter, then she's going to get to an age where I'm going to be going to prison. And I just thought, when the first date shows up, there were so many different ways it could go. And I thought, because I know what men are like in general, because being one and doing the things I've done, I thought I know what it's going to be like to have a daughter, and I don't want to see that heartbreak that happens. So yeah, there was a lot of things that terrified me at the thought of having a daughter. And then when she came along, it was just people say a miracle, but it really, really was. She made such a positive impact in my life. And that was when the kind of wilder side of me stopped. That was when the work I was doing slowed right down, and I changed completely in the sense of, right, normally if somebody would have rang me and said, "Hey, Gavin, we've got a job in Libya a couple of weeks away. It's a few quid for doing something really dangerous. Are you up for it?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, you don't need to ask, I'm on the way." Whereas now it was kind of, no, I'll give that one a miss. So I kind of emotionally matured when she came along as well. So yeah, and she's just amazing. She really is.
There's a follow-on question from Ziggy, and I think it might go, and then I'm going to toss it over to Jim. Your favorite memory from one of your occupations?
Oh, from my occupations. Oh, right. Let's get a good one.
Good question.
Yeah.
Fun question.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun question. It's usually the silly things and the it's. I've got a multitude of like crazy memories from different jobs over the years, and as daft as it sounds, it's the ones that you hate at the time that you look back on and giggle at. I mean, I remember we had to do an OP. We dug a hide that we were watching in the British countryside. We were watching a cottage, and it was just absolutely crazy. There was next to nothing happening. It was a miserable kind of few days. It was in April, so there was April showers, and we were there. I think the total was around about 9 days in a hole with two other guys, and I think it was day 2 that the holes had filled up with water. Our sleeping bags were drenched through. By about day 4 or 5, I think we'd run out of food. I mean, it was just for every disaster that you could possibly want, we were having it. And of course, it's in those stupid disasters that you end up getting the giggles with your mates more than ever, and you do the silly things, and you have the laugh and you have the fun. And I've said before, I miss it, but I'd never go back to it. Yeah, never in a million years. So, but yeah, those are some of the kind of. It's always the ones that you hate at the time that you look back with fond memories for some reason. I don't know why.
Shared suffering.
Yeah. Jim's
Gavin.
being quiet.
No, Gavin. Tell me how old your daughter is again.
She's 9.
She's 9. Years are going by. I'm sure.
No, she's 10. Sorry.
And I've had 4 daughters, and that's why the hair is gray. They're as good as they can be for as bad as their dad was. But what is the one thing you like to do just with her that is the most fun that you guys have, connecting back to fun with Robin? What's the fun thing you two do together? Just
time in general. Yes, my wife's just there saying she's 10, Gavin. Yeah, I know, I corrected myself. I got that used to saying she's 9. She went and had a birthday way back in October. I should have been used to saying she's 10 by now. But yeah, just time in general. We do so many things together. Back here, you probably can't see it. There's a couple of great big bow and arrow sets, and I've got a bale of hay in the garden, and we go out and we do a little bit of archery. I've got a couple of air rifles that in fact, I meant to post the pictures on Facebook the other day where we used to go in the garden, and again, I've got these little tin targets that you line up and that you shoot them and they fall over and things like that. And I try and do as much with her as I can, where it's like daddy and daughter time. And it doesn't matter whether it's a bedtime story or a ride in the car or that kind of thing. I mean, I take her down the D-Day Museum and 1 or 2 other things like that where we go out and do activities. But I think as long as I'm, as Robin would say, as long as I'm present, then that just it's brilliant for me. And I can tell that she knows when I'm present. And when I'm saying, she knows when I'm listening and she knows when I'm not. And I'd like more of that. But yeah, there's no singular activity, but if I'm present with her, that's just gold for me.
When you talk about her, you smile.
Yeah,
that's a natural thing, and I really appreciate just being able to talk to you about that. Hi, Lena.
I appreciate it.
So I have another fun question for you. Scott, he said that hold on, I got to get this right. Okay. If you have a pet, and you do, correct? You have the dog.
We had Mishka, who was a Siberian Husky.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, where we're living now, we weren't allowed to keep her. So my friend's looking after her at the moment. So she's not living with us at the minute, which is a nightmare because we'd only just adopted her. We were just getting attached to her. And so we were actually going to see her tomorrow. So, but yes. But yeah.
Mishka lived with you for a bit, right?
Yeah.
So she gets to see all the behind the scenes of Gavin that nobody else can see. So if you were to ask Mishka the one thing that dog could tell us about you that no one knows, what would it be?
I would say because I remember with Mishka, I did just kind of sit with her, and you kind of talk to a dog how you think that, I don't know, in a way that, I mean, I've seen Lena, you kind of talk to your dog like they understand everything you're saying, and you share your problems with your dog. So I think with Mishka, she would probably say that I put on a brave face for a lot of people a lot of the time, and there's a lot goes on behind closed doors that the general public don't know about, that if they did, they would probably see a different person. Not as in a nasty sense, but just as in a polished exterior with a rusty backside.
Love it. I love it.
I've had a car like that.
A rusty backside. All right. Well, there's one more. We can start going a little more serious. This one's from Brian. It's a really good one. I hear myself. I don't know why. What was your first intelligence assignment?
Unofficially, because it was through a broker. So, because at the time I didn't know I was working for intelligence, I was just given a job, and I wasn't told till kind of after I got back. But I had to collect somebody from a different country, and I had to bring them back to the UK. It had to be done in the boot of the car, and I got a funny feeling about the job when I started. And that was why I used a decoy, and that was why I actually succeeded in my job, which I think upset some people. I think I was set up to fail from the very beginning, because my car was, as soon as it came through, they were like, over there, and I went into what they call the cow shed. And as I went into the cow shed, they were like, out to come with me. They tore my car apart and everything else. In the meantime, the decoy car, which I'd had somebody had the gentleman we were bringing in the boot, just sailed on through. So, yeah, there we go. That was the first assignment, to bring somebody into the country.
Super interesting. Robin, you're quiet.
I was going to say,
I'll wait my turn.
I'm not sure whether Robin had something there or not.
No, because I'm trying to be very respectful, because there's a lot of areas that you are being very genuine about that we could poke at. So we'll poke at a little bit on a positive side. So you mentioned you have a rusty backside.
Yeah, I certainly do.
What's one of the pieces of rust that you've been able to shine up that you've taken a lot of pride in?
Good question. I think generally the role as a father that I was so petrified of, I'm kind of reasonably proud of the fact that I've managed to. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not up for Dad of the Year award or anything like that. But I think I was so worried about failing as a father, and even now I beat myself up all the time about like kind of not doing well enough, and not providing for my daughter as much as I can. And I think now I look back, and a lot of people have said, oh, you're such a great dad and that kind of thing, and I get like imposter syndrome for that. But I think overall I'm actually doing better than I expected to. I expected to let myself down and my daughter down, and I think I've actually kind of done reasonably well, and somehow by some miracle managed to hold it together and do a reasonably good job.
What do you think the origin of those insecurities about being a father came from?
Oh, I've screwed up so many things in my life. So many things. Great relationships. And great relationships have only had one kind of problem, and that's the fact that the person I'm in a great relationship with has generally had a sister or a best friend or somebody else that kind of ends up getting me into trouble somewhere along the line. Alcohol has done a fantastic job of convincing me I can do things I can't do. I've kind of always been able to kind of be right on the fringes of temptation, and managed to kind of go, yeah, let's have a little taste of that. I've tried it and gone, oh, that was fun. And I've skirted in and out and avoided things. I've been on the fringe of so many illegal activities where I've been on the outskirts, far enough away to not be directly involved, but close enough to be part of the fun. There's that word again. And kind of, and because I kind of made a mess of so many things in my life, I had so many chances. I've had a hell of a lot of money in my lifetime that I've blown, and I've done stupid things with it, and I've gone to stupid places, and you can guarantee if there's 3 decisions and one of them is a right one of them is a wrong one, and one of them is an explosive one, I'm going to pick the explosive one. So so that's been my life up until having a daughter, and I was so terrified of carrying on down that self-destructive path that I was on and not being able to stay away from it. But yeah, she's changed that, and for the better, in a good way. I can look back with fond memories, and yet still kind of be myself. With it, I didn't have to change who I was, just had to change the way I acted in the world a little bit, and she's done a good job of making that happen.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a quick follow-up, Gav, as to
go for it.
Because you know me, I love my follow-ups.
Oh, yes.
A probing question, because I love my why questions. But why back then did you always choose the explosive choice?
See, I don't even think it was a conscious choice. I think it was a subconscious choice. I kind of that little voice in my head. This is why I never bought a Phase 1000 motorbike the once I went to see it. I'm a fair weather biker. Sorry to all the real bikers out there, but I tend to buy one at the beginning of the summer, or used to. I haven't for a fair few years now. I used to buy one at the beginning of the summer. It was a toy that I played with over the summer, and when the weather started changing, I'd sell the bike. So that's all it ever was a toy to have a little bit of fun. And I've had a few different, like I've had a Kawasaki ZZR 600, a Suzuki GSXR 750, and they're all brilliant, good street bikes. For the people who don't know out there, you've got 2 kind of bikers. You've got what they call the Hells Angels kind of 2-wheel tractor kind of guys, and then you've got the Captain Plastic Fantastic, which was me on the Kawasaki street bikes and whatever else. And generally the 2 don't mingle. But like I say, for me it was just fun. I've done the big ape hangers as well, and that kind of thing. It's enjoyable. Give it a try. But I went to buy a Phase 1000. Well, I went to see a Phase 1000 that was for sale once. For those who don't know, the Phase 1000 can do 0 to 60 in a second. It's a serious bike. And on the main road where this guy lived, I jumped on it and I shot down the road like something out of a movie. I went round a road traffic island and I come back and I was shaking. I said, nope. I said, I can't do it. I said, the little voices were telling me to open it up. And I said, and if I buy that bike, I will kill myself. So I had to stop. But yeah, I have this thing where out of those 3 choices, I know that explosive one is bad for me. But those little voices say, go on, it'll be fun, do it, go on, have a laugh, life's short, go for it. And it's kind of, yeah, let's do it. And I get the devil on my shoulder, and I'm sure the devil on my shoulder sometimes goes, dude, what are you doing? As for the angel's quit completely, gone. So yeah, that seems to be the I know it wasn't a very direct answer, but I don't really know. I think it was a subconscious thing where I was saying push, but I don't know why. I need a counselor maybe, or somebody who isn't going to quit on me when they find out what's underneath.
Oh, good.
All right, Gavin, I'm going to jump in here. We all have a background here of all the 4 cameras. And in your background, right over your right shoulder is the American flag.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking that's important for us to see that hanging there. And so I'm going to imagine that tomorrow you're going to be transported magically, mystically, however, to someplace in the United States.
Wow.
Where would you direct yourself to the United States if you had to be in the States tomorrow?
Arizona.
I knew it.
Yeah. So I love the States, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
I lived over there a couple of times, trying to get back there, trying to emigrate again. It's a long and painful process. And expensive, but yeah, I've lived in many places. I've lived all over the UK. And for the Americans in the crowd who don't realise that Britain is actually 4 countries. It's England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. So they're 4 separate countries that make up the United Kingdom. And I've lived in all of them. Sorry, I've lived in all of them except Ireland. I've lived in other countries. I've lived in the USA, and I've lived in different parts of England. From the Midlands down to the South Coast, London, Coventry, all over. And I have never felt as at home in my entire life as what I did when I lived in Arizona.
Really?
I loved it that much. I remember the first time ever going on holiday to Arizona. Vacation, sorry. We went on vacation. We stayed with friends out there. We rented a car. We went and did Route 66. We went. We had so much fun. I absolutely loved it. And at the end of, I don't know whether it was 2 or 3 weeks or thereabouts, but at the end of the vacation, my wife, because she grew up over in the States anyway, my wife said, "I don't want to go home. I don't want to go back to England."
Wow.
And I said, "No." I said, "Me either." And we genuinely debated leaving everything behind. The house, everything in it, all of our stuff, the whole lot, and just saying, "You know what? We'll figure it out." And it was a very close call. And in the end, we said, "No, let's do it properly. Let's go back. Let's pack everything up. Let's kind of, sell everything off and cash everything in, blah, blah, blah. And let's move over to the States properly and do it the way it should be done." So, and it was a very close call. We were literally just going to go here, rip the plane tickets up, call the embassy. We need an extension, and kind of start the application off to stay there and kind of, continue living life in the US. And yeah, so it was, I just loved Arizona.
It's a great contrast between, the UK and Arizona. I mean, dry and, sunshine all the time.
Yeah.
What is it about Arizona that the Arizona, the place?
So, I mean, the weather obviously has a huge appeal, especially if you're British, because in Britain you can change your outfit 9 times a day and still be wearing the wrong outfit. The weather here is unpredictable, awful. The rain and you guys, I know you get rain over there, but here the rain is like bitter cold. The wind chill is awful, and you can't kind of. I remember in Guinea Springs in Florida, I was having a barbecue and it was teeming down with rain, and I just stood there in my shorts cooking a steak. I didn't care, and the rain's comfortable there. It's a different kind of thing. But the weather here is bloody miserable. And I think that was what appealed to me in Arizona, because you got like kind of sunshine all year round. Your winters in Arizona are like our summers here in the UK. So I always knew what I was going to wear. I didn't have to worry about what clothes or what outfit I was going to need. And again, I grew up with a life with everything that's weather dependent in the UK is usually going to get cancelled. Whether it's a barbecue, we don't really have drive-in movie theaters over here because of the weather being so unpredictable. There's 1 or 2 that have tried it, but they end up with waterlogged fields and that kind of thing. So, so it was really, really great to never have to kind of worry about it. If we want to go camping, we'll go camping. The weather's good enough to do it. If we want to go and do this, do that, whatever, it was never a problem. So, but the appeal wasn't just with the weather; it was the people were friendly. The way things were run were a lot better. And I remember saying, if you took a lot of the things that were wrong with England and put them right, you'd have Arizona.
Very cool. So Dragon Trainer, I don't know who that is. Awesome. Okay. Call sign.
I like it.
His or her question is, where is the scariest place that you've been?
Scariest place that I've been? Oh, well, tonight, probably the fridge. The refrigerator. Sorry. Yeah.
You were in the refrigerator tonight?
No, I'm joking. Scariest place that I've been? Not where you'd expect. So I've been to a lot of foreign countries where a lot of people might consider scary or hostile or that kind of thing. But believe it or not, it's not so much the place as it is the events. And while I was in England, I had a run-in with some really, really, really nasty people, and I thought my life was over. I remember it quite well. The guy had got a knife. I was pushed into a almost like a closet, and the other guy had literally gone downstairs. There was two of them. I was held at knife point, and the other guy had gone to get like make a phone call or something. I can't even remember it. And he was on the phone to somebody, and the person on the phone was going to give the order. And I just remember him saying to him, "Shall I kill him or not?" And I remember thinking to myself, "I'm not going to make it out of this." So yeah, that was a really, really terrifying time for me. And that was in England. So yeah, so it's one of those things where not necessarily the answer you were probably expecting, but yeah, scary. But yeah, that was a terrifying time, and that was in the UK. Didn't need to go very far to get frightened.
Want to go back to happy thoughts?
Yes, please.
Good question. So since tonight's episode is titled "The Life," a daily in the life of Gavin Stone. Let's take it up from when you said your life completely turned around when your daughter's born. So what's a day of Gavin Stone look like now?
Late nights, because I'm a night owl. And my wife gets up before me, bless her. She brings me a coffee up every morning, which I know I shouldn't have to start the day off, but she does, and it helps wake me up. So it kickstarts me through the day. But yeah, so I'm a teacher to my daughter because she's homeschooled, as well as having other teachers and tutors come in to teach her different things. So I do the teaching for her. I'm a writer. I volunteer for the local community. I do a multitude of different things, and each and every day has got a tick list of activities that I have to do. Excuse me, sorry, to non-martini Sauvignon Blanc is kind of playing hell at me. So yeah, it changes from day to day with the daily routine. I can be teaching my daughter one day, I can be doing my job the next day, I can be writing the next day, and sometimes, depending on what's going on, I'll be doing a bit of each day. And generally, as you can see, I don't know if you can see this up here, but it's pretty damn rammed with things that I've got coming up, trips that I've got coming up, and that kind of thing. Because my wife works from home, my daughter's homeschooled, and everything operates from the office. So we've got 3 floors here, and we're all under each other's feet. I was saying this to Jim earlier. Actually, we're all responsible for cooking and cleaning, and that. So with my wife working from home, if she cooks, I clean. If I cook, she cleans, and whatever else. So I can be doing everything from home tasks and kind of mundane tasks 1 minute, to being kind of called up to help out in a skiff on an intelligence operation the next. So yeah, it can literally go from one extreme to the other in a matter of 24 hours. Not as structured as I'd like it to be, but yeah, good fun.
Cool.
I keep using that fun word. I need to make myself aware of that.
You are achieving fun. Yes, you are. Quick question, follow up. MBTI. What is your personality type?
ENTJ. I know.
Me too. I took the one that you had posted, on the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm actually a certified practitioner of that thing too. I have it in the house, and I have been a very clear ENTJ my entire life. And as soon as I retired from the bureau, I was clearly ENFJ.
Oh wow.
And it's pretty fascinating that normally when you have that low clarity between things, you can go back and forth. But I was pretty solid on the feeler on that one, which was kind of shocking to me. When I left government service, the thinker fell away.
Yeah, I can totally see that, Robin.
It was interesting.
If you don't mind, guys, I spotted this one just, and if you're on about the Unforgiven Spy here, pretty much everything that has happened in that book, I have either been through, witnessed, experienced, trained in, or so everything in this book is from first-hand experience, except the main character in this gets his daughter kidnapped, and luckily for me, touch wood, I've never had that happen, and I hope it never does. But yeah, so there's a little something for you that not many people know. That everything in that book, if it's in there, I've been through it, and not only that, the continuity in that is 100%. So if I tell you something is there, if a river, that river's there. If I tell you the code to a particular door on a military base is 2345, it's 2345. The continuity is or was at the time. The continuity is 100% in that book. So so if it's in there, if it's a website, it's a real website. Whatever, it's 100%.
Right from the first description of killing someone, I figured, wow, this is like a first-hand account to me. It was
the
trade craft
actually,
were really
funnily
good.
enough, we were. So I don't know whether you saw with Eric. I've done this kind of analysis of the husband formerly known as Prince Harry. And we've been watching his body language, and one of the things that we looked at was this area in the book where he's on about his kill count while he was in the army, and he's got blasted for it. He's got into a lot of trouble for it. And Eric and I both agreed, and I'm sure you guys would probably say the same thing. It's not the done thing for anybody in the military to do this kind of thing, and I joked at the end of it all, and I said throughout my entire career, and with the guys I've known from all different branches of the military, there was only ever one military guy who talked about the amount of people he'd killed, but that was because he was a chef.
Wound collectors have interesting behavior.
There's a question from Grant.
Hey, hi, Grant.
Yeah, hi, Grant. Grant wants to know, when you were younger, how do you think your life would turn out? So back in those choosing the explosive path or whatever it was. So back then, how did you think that your life would turn out?
Well, I'm still young, so I'm still working on it. But much younger, when I was much younger, I don't know. I kind of knew from, or wanted from a younger age to kind of find a way to be successful, but on my own. I didn't want to be your typical corporate ladder climbing type of career person. You know, that never appealed to me. I didn't want to be the one who was mid-level management, who was after the promotion or the title for an annual wage that somebody had never heard of in a position in an office that nobody even knew existed. I wanted to be the one who said, yeah, this is my company, and I built it from the ground up, or this is what I do, and I created it, or it was something where I don't know, maybe it was a bit of a control thing, I don't know, but I didn't see myself ever being somebody else's employee. I always saw myself as being that independent person that kind of lived by my own rules and did things my way. And even if they were wrong, then I'd learn from it. So hope that answers the question. And I know it's a bit vague, but yeah, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I don't think, but I knew what I didn't want to be.
Jim, anything?
Well, let's see. I remember the first book I ever bought with my own money that I wanted to read. Could you go back to being a kid? Was it a book? Was it a particular magazine? Or was it something you spent with your money and said, I want to read this. I want to know this. I'm curious about this. Is there a book like that that you might tell us about?
For me, when I was younger, it was comics. I loved comics. A lot of army stuff and military stuff I liked, but as well as the superhero stuff. But the first book I ever bought was George's Marvelous Medicine by Roald Dahl. Have you ever heard of the author Roald Dahl? No. So yeah, he's a famous author here in the UK who specialises in children's books, and it was this. creator of this marvelous medicine, and I think he lived on a farmyard or something. It's been so long since I've read it. Like, yeah, I was very young, and he'd give this medicine, and every time he altered the medicine a little bit, he'd give it to the animals on the farmyard, and something different would happen to them. So, like, there's one occasion he gives some to a chicken, and this chicken grew a great big long neck, and then he changed it a little bit, and he gave it to a chicken, and then the chicken like kind of, I think it grew 6 legs or something, or which was great if you like owned KFC. But it was all different things. So I can't remember the exact thing, but it was really, really brilliant. I think he ended up taking the medicine himself or something. But yeah, there we go. It's been that many years since I've read it. I can't even remember what it was about properly. Just little snippets. But yeah, that was the first book I ever bought as a child.
I'm always interested in what people do when they were younger. First book, the favorite movie, road trip. What was it? Where'd you go? And those kind of things. So that's what I like to go back and see who you were and understand that by what you read and all. And I bought comics when I was a kid. They cost 10 cents back then.
Wow.
But, not so much now.
No.
And you could cut the little stuff out and order it online. That was so cool. Of saving up your money to try to, like I remember buying, the coolest thing I remember in the back of a comic book was saving up my money to buy the little chest of army men.
That is so cute.
Yeah, the little chest of plastic army men.
I wanted to get the X-ray glasses, and I can't tell you why.
That's a great question. I love that question.
I've noticed a few people asking, or it might be the same person. People keep asking how old I am.
Yeah,
so
I've seen that.
I know, and I'm not embarrassed by it at all. But what we can do is we can have a little bit of fun, and if we get everybody, fun! I've got to stop that. I'm hyper aware of using the word fun now. So what we want, if everybody, apart from my wife or anybody who knows, have a guess, stick it in the comments. I promise you, I won't be insulted. In fact, I don't think I could be insulted. Many people have tried, and if the military have failed at insulting me, then civvies have got no chance. So yeah. Put a number in the comments. Don't be kind. Try and see if you can guess. Lena, is there anything else lined up? Or what have we got?
Let's see. Okay, so Scott has one. I'll just read it to you.
Okay.
Down the track, what is the main attribute you will look for when when your daughter brings a partner home to meet you?
Main attribute I will look for.
Sorry, I'm laughing at mine.
Attitude. It will be his attitude.
All right.
And it'll be. I don't care if he's a road sweeper or a corporate CEO or a car salesman or any it doesn't matter what career he does. It's down to the fact that has this person got the right attitude towards life? And I think a lot of the time, especially in 52, wow. Ooh,
I was like,
I think we live in a society, especially with the younger generations now, where they've got this kind of blame the world and it's everybody else's fault except mine. And that is something that if that's the attitude they've got, then that person I will try and say is not the person I'd want my daughter to be with. But if they've got this attitude of, let's make something happen, I remember when I was living in Scotland with my mother-in-law, I was bidding on a ship in Wales on eBay that was for sale as a project. So we're looking like so you got Scotland at the top, then England, then Wales over this. So you got like 3 countries difference. And it was just something that I thought, you know what? It was this ship that was for sale and it needed renovating. And I thought, right, if I buy this ship on eBay, I'll get it up to Scotland, I'll renovate it, and and I'll put it, sell it back on. And it was a project. We were up there, we were bored, there was nothing to do, it was Scotland. And she was like going, how the hell are you going to get the ship from Wales to Scotland? I'm like, yeah, I'll figure it out. Right? And then she said, well, where are you going to get the money from to buy the ship? I'm like, I'll get it from somewhere. And everything was what I used to say at the time, a minor technicality. You know, there's always investors that will invest in a project. There's always some transport company that will do it. There's always something that you can make happen. So there was always a way to get anything done. And that was my attitude towards life in so many ways, was like kind of, instead of looking at something and going, oh, that's going to be really hard, I'd look at something and go, how do we make that happen? Or how do we make that easier? Or what's going to get that job done? And so I've got a very different approach to a lot of people with things. Which I'm, like I say, my mother-in-law currently hates me, but she at the time was like kind of, you know, I can't believe, you know, I'm actually, you know, letting this happen kind of thing. And so yeah, as it happened, I never actually bought the ship. I was outbid at the last minute, so probably fortunately for me. But either way, it was something that, you know, that kind of attitude. If my daughter brings somebody home that has that can-do attitude, or that let's make it happen attitude, or no obstacle is going to stop me, then that would definitely be an appealing attribute to me.
Anybody?
Yeah, we had a few good guesses with the age. I'm going to scroll up really quickly. Let's see what the majorities are saying up here. So we got 44, 52, 47, 45, 38. Bless you, thank you. 37, thank you very much. Okay, so right, I am 44, like the Magnum. 44 years young.
There you go. I love it. Very cool.
Right. You had to be at least 40 because you've done so much. You couldn't have done it any less time than that. So that's why I went for 42.
I noticed Jim put a nice 42, The Meaning of Life, for those of you who watch The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or have read the book. But yeah, that was a generous 42. But yeah, if we went off experience rather than years that we've actually been on the planet, I would probably be sitting with Judas and Jesus right now. But luckily for me, age only goes off the amount of times we've been around the sun. So only the 44 of them.
And since I don't see much gray hair, I thought, well, maybe I really overshot it, and you're only 33. But
yeah. Oh, I'm sure they're going to start coming through soon. They probably have. I'm trying not to look in the mirror and trying to avoid too much of a close inspection in case I start spotting. Because it's when you spot the first one that causes the rest. You know that, right?
But I'm just glad to have it. And Robin, he's got the right amount. You know, just got a little salt and pepper in there.
Yeah, you got to get close on mine.
Strong, still rocking it. You know. And I'm just in the rocking chair. So,
well, I just had a sad realization or reality hit me in the face, because last week, I think it was last week, it was overnight, and I went like this and streaked. I almost passed out. I was like, what? I never had gray hair. Never, not once, nothing. And well, maybe because I'm not dyeing it, but I don't know. And it was just everywhere. So I had to go put a little touch up in there. Terrible.
You would rock silver hair.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
I was thinking. I was trying to remember
that Shibby today. I don't know what Shibby means. Is that
what's that character's name? I was just thinking in X-Men that's got the silver streak in her hair. I'm sure.
Oh, I don't know I don't know the characters, but mine was cool. Hey, this is a woman who's finally getting gray hair. Look, yeah, it just wasn't that cool. Shiny.
I'm sure you'll rock it. Right, we're around about kind of a minute and a half to the top of the hour. So yeah, I've been open and honest and vulnerable, and kind of we've got a minute and a half left before we probably start wrapping up. So, there we go. We've got Rogue or Storm. Yeah, we've got two, Rogue and Storm. I don't know which one it actually is. I can't remember. So what should we close up with? Should we have the last couple of rotations and call it a day?
Oh my gosh, yeah. What do I want my last question to be? I got to think, guys. Take it over if you have something.
In the meantime, can we plug Psycon?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can. That's
so
good.
For all of you, those of you who are watching,
I got a few friends that want to go to that too.
Oh, brilliant. In fact, if what I'll do, if you send me the link later, I will add it to the description of this video, and we'll put it in there so people can take a little look at that. So, SciCon is Security Intelligence Conference, which is coming up in Dallas in September. Basically, if you're not going to be there, then just kind of forget about everything. It's not be there. It's going to be brilliant, and Jimmy
will be there.
Yeah, we will all be there, and Jim has agreed previously. I hope he's still going to stick to it. That he's going to bring his invention along as well. That a select few people will be able to test out and play with. So I want to be first of the queue there. I'm like a big kid. So yeah, SciCon coming up in September. Click on the link for details, which I will post down below.
Yeah, so if you guys like this stuff and you like us, which I think you do because we like you, it's 2 days of action-packed adventure. So it's training. We have all of us will be there, but more amazing people. Scott in the audience from Australia will be there. Ella from Australia will be there. We have our celebrity keynote. I'm not going to say it yet, but you all know her. I know you know her and love her, and she's amazing. It's going to be training and breakout sessions. We're going to have tons of author meet and greet tables. You're going to have meet and greets with the celebrity keynote. You're going to have your James Bond martini meet and greet hour. You have catered lunches. You have surprises, and you have a super spy game that all attendees will take part of on the first day, run by a former CIA agent. So it's going to be so much fun, and a lot of goodies and takeaways. So.
And it's possible that Jim might come in his Corvette, but he will remember. Yeah, because as long as you remember to close your garage door, just in case there's any kind of top secret information that's kept in there in any boxes. I mean, who would do something so daft? But just in case, just close the garage door. So yeah, thank you. And I'm looking for. I might have to have a little drive around the car park in it myself, Jim.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Right then, Robin, do you want to do the last question of the night, and then we'll wrap up.
No, I'm good.
No, everybody's out. Everybody's out of ammo. I've done it. I've survived. Jim, have you got one before we go?
No. I thank you for just letting me hang out with you guys. This is the most fun an old guy can have on a Thursday night.
It's been fun for me, and thank you for everybody. Actually, it's been a little bit like therapy, to be fair. I'm going to do the Prince Harry thing here. So no, it's been good because it's made me realise that I use the word fun too much.
You don't. Oh my God!
What makes you say it's too much?
I don't know. I just think maybe I should start being a little bit more serious. Do you guys think I should be more serious?
No.
I thought that word was fine. You didn't use it as a filler. It was good.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So that's why if someone uses a word a few times, it's just fun to explore what that means to them. So you have a good frame of reference.
Oh, that's okay then. Well, thank you guys. It's been enjoyable, and I'm glad I've survived an entire hour of being interrogated by the world's best, and it's been enjoyable.
Yay! Well, I did hear there was a recommendation to interrogate Jim next, so I'm just saying.
Ooh,
oh, brother.
Yeah,
I'll be a little busy here for a while. I don't know.
Yeah, if you'd be willing to put yourself in the firing line, Jim, then it'd be nice to kind of have a night of get the audience to ask a few questions as well, and a day in the life of Jim Pyle. Would you be willing? Put you on the spot. Yeah.
As he shakes his head, no. He's like,
yeah, I know, yeah. I'm going to use that for reference.
Put him on the spot. Not fair.
All right, guys.
Never good for Santa Claus to reveal all his secrets.
Yeah. Thank you for everybody who's coming. Please like and subscribe, and see you next week. We'll be on TCG Tribe on Facebook. Week after, back here on YouTube. Good night, all.
All right, guys.